Okay, let's just go ahead and do the thing. Click that button too. It should pop up in a second when I click over to it. Make sure. Yep, cool, it's capturing. Wanted to make sure it actually picked up.
Right.
So this is a one-off thing we're going to do as a break in between games. Because we chugged through all the postal brain damage in 3 sessions. Which, I mean, that's about right for what essentially is chalked up to a Doom clone.
Yeah.
Alright.
I just got the notification that you were
Yeah. Let's go ahead and start this.
Yeah.
Figure it's late enough in the evening, people just do their things.
Please make sure audio is on.
I can hear things.
Take off the headphones, throw them out the window.
Control, yeah, I set those. I set those controls. For a second, my cursor was on screen.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
That's another one we could have just picked up and played.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but
Not allowed to go
that
that
they
way.
are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without
Hello,
even
texture box.
really pausing to try to
there's, like,
understand
texture
what he
boxes.
Oh, I've
made.
seen them, and just I
Until
didn't
suddenly
notice
one
that
day,
one.
he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Jeez. It's a while.
Yeah?
Ah. Very white.
Yeah, the whole first screen was too.
Oh.
Warning. Whisper machine active. Shift destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda. You can click to fire the gun.
Oh, it's A. Because I chose it for interact.
Yeah.
Security code breached. celestial alien life forms inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
So I knew it had to open at some point. Something did.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh.
The universe has to have a bottom somewhere.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
What do you think?
Like, narratively, yeah, sure. Hysterically, no.
I just love that it's
Let me
the
pause
classic.
here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh, he just dies and respawns? Oh, and then...
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no. There's the labyrinth.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't too far off.
The beam causes you to start floating.
Should have turned at the first one.
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
November 2008 again.
Still there.
Yeah.
We're in a hallway. No.
Okay.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Walk up. The past was behind her. Okay. Oh.
The music's backwards.
So it's a
future
short
could
and
not be
relatively
seen.
minimalist experiment
That's it.
combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
What that's when she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. But if the future is always
Behind her.
behind her, I thought the past was always behind her. How will she find the strength to confront it?
Fair enough.
It's a short little thought, it
Oh.
says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Still in November.
Slender.
You would fucking think. You're now entering.
The bones.
That's exactly where my brain went, actually.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Okay.
December.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Okay.
I wish I'd known him at the time
Someone
that he was
plays
making
Zeppelin.
these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all.
I feel like we know somebody.
What are you
like
gonna do?
this.
We know a few. One in particular, but we know a few. Oh, it's getting slow.
Oh god.
I'm getting tired.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
There's not going to be anything there, though. Obviously, they didn't. Not
And
gonna,
we shall see. There's a modern room.
too much.
It's all his thoughts.
Yeah.
At least that's what I'm getting out of it.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
A key in one game unlocks a door in a completely separate game.
Coda would
I was
often
reading
tell
the
me
one
that
above
he
it.
didn't mind if
A
people
normal
thought of
game
him
where you
as
have
cold
to
or
scream
distant.
into
He
a
said that
mic
he
every
knew
15
he was
seconds to
actually
keep
a
playing.
vibrant and
That game
compassionate
exists.
person, but that
Yeah.
it takes time to really see that.
It's just you have to keep
It can be
screaming
a
to
very
keep
slow
moving.
climb to get
You're the
there.
queen dusting your jewelry while your kingdom is destroyed.
Yeah.
Button you
Button.
press to stop the chaos, but it
Doesn't
doesn't work. Press
Press
U to
U.
surrender.
Nope.
I'm not allowed to read them all.
No.
Ready, set, fish.
Okay.
Gaming has taught me to always look behind me.
Yep.
Back in the labyrinth.
Not so much.
No, but you know.
We're in Minecraft
Yeah. I built this.
now.
No, too much lighting. It's not me.
True.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Nope. That wasn't.
Don't forget that
Oh.
solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
This wall was once a bowling ball.
I was gonna say it is surprise.
Just a little.
It's like, I see you. You made it through the puzzle. Good job.
It's a point of no return drop.
Yeah, it is. Final boss.
The
The music actually picked
Yeah,
up
yeah.
a little there. Okay.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press the use key on your gamepad, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Alright. What the fuck? What?
That was
Why-
just one path.
Why build all of that if
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
why build all of
Either
that
way,
when
I
it's
think
not
that the point is
accessible?
the same. Is that most of the time, you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand,
Can't
then
walk
what
off
is
the
it?
edge and die.
Nope, I tried. We're into January of the next year. And we're back
Hey,
here.
back in Slender. You are now leaving. No,
Yep.
Damn it, I was.
You were close enough.
aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we
create a
have, we can
cinematic
step back
universe.
and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
That is certainly a perspective to have. So far, it's the best perspective we have.
Yeah.
The Great and Lovely Descent. Titles are getting
Falling
interesting.
Simulator. Jesus, that's so much white.
Though. House in a Void.
Yeah.
You know, just Void?
Yep.
Or you want House with slightly gray void? We are slow walking.
Let's talk about video game development for a
I wouldn't
second.
be surprised if you could never.
Every video
stop.
game runs on what's called an engine,
Or the-
which
whatever
determines
that
what
is.
the game
Barn?
can and
It
cannot
says
do.
food.
So in other words, the engine is a set of
Or
tools
fool.
for game development.
The Streetwise fool.
Yep.
To make
Just
all of
saying
these
anything.
games,
Just
Coda
saying
is
anything.
using an engine called
Okay.
Source. Like all engines, Source has certain
So
things that it
it's
does
a
well,
bit of
and it has
Shakespeare?
certain things that it does
In
poorly.
a way.
I mean,
One of the things that it
that's
does
an
very
interpretation.
well
I'm gonna go up the
is
stairs first.
boxy linear
Stairs.
corridors.
On the side of the house.
That's why so many of Coda's games
I saw
are
him
set
when I
in
was
these
walking up.
large, flat, empty rooms, is just because
go in
he's
there.
working with what
Okay,
the engine
worth
does
trying.
well.
Yep.
The
There's not a
tools
lot of
available to the
deviation
creator
here,
shape
so-
what kinds of
Handicap,
creative
so-
work they're going to end up making. You might consider
More
paying
white.
attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing.
Hey,
well,
you
I
can
fell.
actually fall in this
Corridors.
one. You don't die, but
I slid though. I fast tracked.
yep.
I can't go down there though. I have to go down the stairs. There's actually the walls visible.
Yeah, I see it.
I still can't.
No,
I'm not allowed in there.
no, you can't.
Just
get
not allowed to whatever that is. From a distance, it looks like a VHS. I heard a squeak.
It's probably one of these.
Cattle gates.
Yep, that one closed behind you.
Yeah, I got locked in.
So this is attempted a horror game, obviously. Yeah.
Maybe
What the fuck?
going up.
That was a lift.
This
And-
prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the door stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Yeah, please.
Oh, do we not have any sounds for you again? I'll turn it up again. Let me check what I'm doing here. Turn it up a little more. I don't know how you're not getting any sound. I'll double check it real quick. Click back over here.
It's showing sound.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've got audio. It must be on your end, Task. All right, back out. Nope,
Nope.
back down.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
I wanted to see if there was anything back there with the gates.
Well, it looked like you walked over the top of the stairs.
I
and
did
then-
at first. There's a little barrier
Yeah.
on one side where the
So I
bar
was
is.
So I was like, oh, well, I guess
Yeah.
you can't go down either.
There's still that invisible wall in the center. There's those dots again.
Yeah. This one supplies too.
Here's
It's
that.
the puzzle again,
Yeah.
with the exact same solution as
Really
the
didn't-
last time.
You really didn't have to tell us. We probably would have figured it out.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
person.
Oh, you said listen.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the buttons on your gamepad to respond.
A, B, or C?
2. There was an enormous prison I spent hours in.
I remember which button it was.
That's the one above. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yes, I did. No, I don't remember having to go through any puzzle. I prefer not to tell you after all. We just met. Honestly, number 2.
Number 2?
The puzzle is the only way. There, by the way, isn't it now? I don't remember how I got here. Wait, yes, I did solve it. I am the champion of solving puzzles. I can go anywhere I please.
Which one do you like the most?
Honestly, 3, but I kind of want to say 1 as well.
I mean, whichever one you want more.
Let's go with 3. I am the champion of solving puzzles. No, you can't. You worked on the other side. Oh, you have no idea what's on the other side. You cannot help us escape this perseverance for what I need. Surely there will be someone else. Okay.
Door's
Goodbye.
open.
Goodbye then.
We're back here. That door felt like a fat shank. Okay.
Was there a puzzle? No, I've been right here this entire time. Go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. What happens if I solve it? Sure. I have a suspicion that mine won't be worth what it takes to get there.
I didn't get the last one either. Go time.
Alright. $10 says we end up back in our room.
Either that or we wind up back at the puzzle.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
We zoom in. It's a courtyard
Yeah.
with a lamppost.
It's a lamppost.
Yes.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost.
He just
It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he
Eventually
wants
the drugs
something to
wear
hold
off.
on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're going to see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive,
Just
a
rubbing
lot
all
more
over
fully
this
developed,
lamppost.
with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go,
I can't crouch.
that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
You watch me configure. There's no crouch button,
I know.
which is weird for a Source game.
True. April 2009.
Yep. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. It's Dark Souls.
Yay.
All notes you see are left by other players.
Fake wall.
Oh.
Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet.
No.
All of the notes that you're going to see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
I
Either
think
way,
that someone up there
to me
probably
they
said
convey
that
a
too.
sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts
Balls.
and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express
Wooden
them
grass and concrete
except
here.
as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Sounds about right. Do you want to go through all these?
Nope.
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often
Shit
felt,
is this cavern?
that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me.
I'm sure you
That I could just
guaranteed that there's an acorn
Play
somewhere
someone's
here in
game
this place,
and see
sailors
the
are
voices
looking
in
for
their
it.
head and get to know them better
Well,
and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing.
You guys just looking
I
for
could just
someone
get to
talk
know
with.
you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much,
What about you?
is because it felt like
Do
they
you
let me
refuse to
have
believe?
that connection.
I don't.
I felt as
refuse,
though
I just
he was inviting
choose
me
not to.
personally
Fair.
into his world.
But us, bud.
And then I feel less lonely too.
Need to go to the friggin' bathroom. Recognize me, please.
No.
Who are you? There's nothing here. Go back. Don't listen to that guy. It is Dark Souls.
Yeah.
A free T-shirt. Need other side. Door. Why you so? Makes game includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. Open sesame. Door how open. Someday I will meet the person who made this.
You are the person who made this.
Ah. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get.
Turl.
Internal, yeah. I added the letter.
Yep. Oh jeez.
New room. Run for painting.
Yep. That's where I was seeing.
If you just walk past them, they add to the music.
A little bit, yeah. I recognize that sound. That's like menu sound from
Yeah.
like Final Fantasies and whatnot.
I think this is not going anywhere. It's hard to speak when there's not right.
I need
Someone to talk to. Don't we all? Is this a note? Don't listen to the other notes.
Yes, sir. I was told not to listen to you.
I'm
You
not
are
safe.
safe. I was told not to listen. He is safe.
This one's in the ground. Today I learned you cannot fall off. Yep, that's what I figured.
At least we tested it.
Yeah. Whoever made this has issues. Calling yourself out. We will all die someday.
Yes. Spoilers doesn't mean anything.
It has dots.
Yep. More dots.
Devil Tower Star.
Okay.
Battlestar Galactic.
He was himself the most horrible creature he could imagine. So we're just heading down the depression hole here, huh?
Seems like it. Well, I'm here now. We're all here now.
We're all mad here.
Must be a reason for it, though. This terrible secret, he kept it well.
Jeez.
I beat the game. More room.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle
Scared
again.
of writing something.
And
You
here,
don't feel
I'll
judged.
tell you what I think
You
the
don't wanna
puzzle
feel
means.
judged.
Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous
So the key
chapter of
is
his life
the other game.
before moving on to the
Right.
next one.
Just there.
I've seen everything and traveled the world. I have never told anyone. I love that the whispering's picking up
Yeah.
the closer we get. So we know it's real world. I have honestly thought about carrying a notebook and just leaving things places for people to find. Nonsensical.
Yeah. Big ball.
Become one with spiraling nonsense. I mean, aren't we already? Downward, keep digging.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Does this puzzle have a solution?
Help.
Literally an hour out.
Help.
Doesn't make sense. Second door won't open.
Developer. Shit, how you solved it.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, Before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Clearing of the throats.
Yeah. We're heading to a
Typewriters. How do you leave notes? And the lamppost. So many typewriters.
Oh, God.
That's loud.
Yep.
Are you there? Please say something. Oh my God. Speak.
Why is the typewriter still going?
To torment you. Pretty much specifically, I'm sure.
Porn stars die too.
Okay, this one is tough.
I know.
It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Nice sky.
What is that? Why does it have a lava texture?
It's way out there though.
Can't interact with nothing. Can go in here though. Ooh, good texture.
Yeah.
That same painting.
He could only afford the rights to one.
Yeah. It was open
And he
source.
painted himself.
It was open source. Stare at the light. Keep moving. Well.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture.
It's gone.
And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Everything's gone.
Well, the space
I've
for
been
it's
robbed.
still physically there. Like, I can't walk around there. Which one would you prefer?
Is that how you spell refrigerator?
I mean, that's one way.
Put a giant hole in the ground. Why?
Yeah, I had to remember. At the table. Huge picture of a horse. 10 stoves lined up along the wall.
Horse.
Horse? Couch.
Yeah.
Couches. Skylight, full ceiling window. Let's open this baby up. 10 by 12 recessed electric 6-inch soft LED ceiling lights with fluorescent trim.
With live Tesla coils in each corner.
You like that one?
Oh yeah. And lamp.
Lamp. A table. We have one.
Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from?
Tables
Pretty
were
sure
invented in
none.
1935. You like that
Yeah.
one?
Table. No.
That's cool.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
It's a puzzle. Or maze. Another maze. He likes
Kinda.
mazes.
It's really
So,
way
okay,
too open to
he
be a
throws it out
maze.
and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Please walk forward. Walk backwards.
It disappeared completely.
This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment.
Any.
That's a promise, I guess.
Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step.
First, click on this table.
Over the photo frame. Click it to turn its slight pane. Floor lamp. Back off again.
No.
Left side of the sofa. Move it over a little.
Left side's your favorite.
Touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison escape will now open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison.
Alright.
It's a table, painting,
So yeah,
light on and off,
Left sofa.
left sofa, and then shelves.
Oh, okay. So.
And of course, now the table is gone, you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside, and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on?
Still no
But
painting.
Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Okay. Cool. We can make it to the lamppost and we're
Is that a
done.
phone booth?
Looks like it.
For those of you too young to know what a phone booth is,
Mhm.
Google's a thing.
Yeah. Ominous.
Touch lamppost.
Make a call.
Hello. Who is this?
This is dog. I'm you after you escape from the prison. Alright.
It beeps.
You're me. So you were trapped in this prison. I was in the furniture.
It's a conversation.
I was in the escape.
And so
tutorial.
this
I was
is
in
what
the
Coda
reverse.
wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
That's where I am right now.
But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
It's strange. I kind of miss being in the prison. It feels like being completely still and wildly emotional at the same time, too. I just felt good about being here sucks. True. Maybe I only like things once. I don't have them anymore. It was comfortable. I knew my limits, or knew its limits. I knew my plays. But don't you feel excited about getting out of the process? Number one kind of hits home, don't it?
Yeah, just a little. Well, I would hope so.
Yeah, you're me, aren't you? I'd really like to change that. No, I think you'll find out. You're me. A call from Heather. You working on our trap? No, I think I'm the first person to call that.
No
What
paradox.
do I have to do?
No paradox.
You know, all you have to do is be sincere to get out. You'll need to tell how you feel. Not to get out. Just, I was hoping for a funny answer.
I mean, any of those is existential as shit.
Correct. They're all about the same.
Yeah.
I was really hoping for either paradox or no, you stay in.
Yeah. Which one do you want?
Number 2.
That seems to be the number of the day.
What? No, afraid no. Can't know until you're out. I promise it works. Just tell me how you feel. It will make sense. That's just a line. That's just dialogue right there. Just
Yeah.
as a chunk. So, Eddie, I want to do.
Be ominous about it.
I'm afraid of nothing. For sure.
Don't we all?
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
No. I'm still in prison. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, but I'm trying to get the fuck out.
Be more helpful.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
That's pretty.
Yeah.
Makes me think of the. You ever play Hitman Blood?
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's
Christmassy
puzzle,
themed to
with
an
the
extent.
2 doors on either
And
side and a dark transitional space between.
It's a modern house on a cliffside with a glass tub jacuzzi or glass bottom jacuzzi in it. Take a guess what you can do with a jacuzzi. It's one of my favorite levels too.
This kind of reminds me of Far Cry 4.
That door or that door?
I'm assuming we're going to get to a phone and have a conversation, so...
So inside.
Yeah.
This.
Oh, no. Go into a
I
person.
got a friend.
Listen. Clean. I don't live here.
Don't worry about me. A place this nice.
You'll
I'll be
notice
glad
that
to
the
stay
quality of
here
the
all
art is a
night.
step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on.
Probably cleaning.
From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this
Don't worry
particular
about me.
game took 2 months to create as a result.
I thought you were coming on to me. I thought he was coming on. Oh,
Done.
that was fast. He is
Now they're
coming
coming
on
onto us.
Yeah.
Is it over here? Looks
Hey.
alright. The room's all fucked up.
Yeah.
It's still
It's
crooked.
still crooked, yeah.
I mean, so's the bed though.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But
That's
so's
the
the
whole
wall.
house. Yeah.
The wall is crooked, so it's fine.
It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy.
Is that what you want?
Yeah, this is the best of those three.
Careful, because that means it's everything. At any rate, my place is just to see a bit of peace brought here. Speaking of which, the pillows on this couch are right. Would you come out and straighten them?
Ugly pillows.
Yeah. Spilled a drink
They
over
do
by
not-
the couch.
They do not match that.
Who's drinking black goo from Death Stranding?
I mean, look, sometimes you just like what you like.
Incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that?
Make it especially cheesy.
The suspense.
No.
No. No, that was stupid.
It seems like we're cleaning the house.
Yeah,
and
they're
you're just
not-
fucking standing there.
Yeah.
The tub need. All right, get your ass in there. It's
Looks alright to me.
better.
I thought it was textured.
Maybe.
Books scattered on the floor of the bedroom. There is one book on the floor. I didn't need to do all the rest of that. This is off.
What?
We're back
After
to
the
this
intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing.
No, it doesn't.
It's
it
the
feels like more
moment
prison.
after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit
The chores
and
never
digest
end.
inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Future chores to future.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like
It says rug in
grossly
the bedroom.
happy all the time.
Oh, it does,
just
doesn't it?
walked
That's-
around with a constant smile on his face.
Tub again. Take care of it and takes care of you.
That was cheesy.
Yeah. You want to go with your
You're
answer?
right. That's pretty cheesy. Yeah. Anyway.
Housekeeping. Let's just keep doing this. Books. Back to the books. Why is this so long?
I know, right?
Oh,
One tiny little sink. Giant freaking stovetop.
couch again.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
I have a feel like it sounds like this.
But, of
this
course,
story
it can't
is
last.
heading in a
The music
dark
stops,
direction.
your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well.
Yeah, cool.
Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Well, I mean, that just
Yeah.
answered you.
Yeah. I get a dark feeling for the whole game though.
Yeah.
Of, like it's post.
Touch.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move.
Edge of wall.
I really thought that was the point of it.
Jump, jump,
If I
jump,
can.
jump, jump. Oh,
I didn't get
didn't
to
even
it.
make it.
We're at September 2009. We've almost made it a year.
Yeah.
Items
This
you
one
love.
gets a
Members
bit
only
goofy.
prices.
Okay. Oh.
I love that the head turns with every line.
Yeah. If you can hear it. No.
Relationships are meaningful. No. Came here to be perfect.
Nah.
Perfect. Oh, what?
This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect.
Can you teach me how to teleport from chair to chair like I just did? Wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own personal life?
No one.
Who you know is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself?
No one.
Compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful. And
Tend to make you into that person. Perfection is. within
why am I
you.
in the front? I always sit like in the middle.
Yeah. That's just how we do it. How we do it effortlessly.
This is easy.
It's
So easy.
It's so
About
easy.
halfway through the game,
Being
the
perfect.
perspective shifts.
And now you're the talker.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh
Ah!
God! The screams.
And you
Kids
play
should
as
not
the
follow
teacher.
their dreams.
And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the
I
classroom
still
now.
love you. It's just that you make me feel cold on the inside. If you could. Drinking is not hurting my life. Thank goodness how you perceive me being wise and intelligent.
I like that one the
Yeah.
most.
You understand you won't be happy until you love me. This is for you. Ew, I'm developing a cyst. Gross.
I like that one.
Yep.
Just kidding.
I'm going to do ecstasy after this. There is no truth. There is no. They're all good on that one.
Going for the
Yeah.
ecstasy.
Holy shit! You guys, something's coming out of the back of the room. Look out! It's coming for you. It's going to destroy you. Everybody run!
Number 2.
Yeah.
I felt pretty hard for this reflection. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully
Can't
human.
go to the lamppost.
I think
that.
about
I
this
wanted
game
to
a lot
touch
these
it.
days.
Hey! Wow.
We made it. We jumped ahead a good little bit.
Yeah. About 5 months. 4 months.
September, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know when in September, so we'll go with
Right.
4.
This
Table.
one took a lot longer than all the others for
Painting.
Coda to make. It was
Painting.
4 months between
No
this
light,
and the last
though.
one.
No.
That's twice as long as it took him to make any other
Stargate.
game before this. And it's not like it's particularly
I have no
complex.
idea.
I don't
either.
either.
So I remember I found that a little
I'll follow the arrow,
strange
though.
at the time.
Sit in chair. Sit at the top of the stack of chairs.
I've done it.
Uh huh. Same.
I was a music kid. I had to stack those chairs a lot.
Mhm.
I was also the music kid who stayed behind to pick up after, so
Yeah.
this actually feels familiar to me. I've been in stages like this. Maybe not this deep, but
Jeez.
To be or not to be?
That
is the query.
Okay. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against them, in doing, or something, I forget the line.
I've forgotten most of it at this point. I didn't even want to start Richard III because Jesus Christ. That was the winter of our discontent.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking 5 minute. You fucking might as well be a eulogy.
Yeah. Start out leaning against this wall. Good. Stay right there. Run. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to
Photograph.
Photograph. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Say something. Where's the bathroom?
It's actually what I was looking at.
What are you
What
doing?
are you doing?
You're deflecting. You're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. Do you like Pokemon? Here are all my
That's
hopes
actually
and
what I was
dreams.
laughing at.
No, that's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of this conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, in just that moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's you need to feel this, better feel the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby.
Wait. Oh, those are close enough.
Ding, 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 ding,
That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just having fun with this. I fucking completely... I've checked out. This is the game now.
Yeah. And say while you're bouncing, hit 2. You're messing it all up again. Don't freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. You don't realize how important this is for me.
Are you comfortable?
Everything was riding on this.
Are you comfortable?
I want to try something.
Focus. Whoop.
Try stepping back from the stage. Oh, Jesus.
Lamppost!
Lamp. Get to the lamp. I am moth.
Touch.
To lamp.
Must. Touch. Touch.
Brother, we're heading straight for the lighthouse. I know.
You're doing the opposite of what you said again.
Moon the crowd.
It's still there. You can still hear them
Yeah,
plinking.
slightly.
Hello! Now I can see you. Those lights hurt.
Yeah.
I love that they're still plucking away at
Uh-huh.
the sound. If I back away, what happens if I do this?
Ah,
Excuse
we've
me.
been put in horny jail.
Again? I just got out this morning. Once again. To be or not to be? I have to be louder because I'm further away.
The microphone's not working.
Probably peaked the mic just
Yeah,
now.
probably. Apologies.
They're used to it.
That was another one.
The game
This
ends
is
with
what it
this
was like.
eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life.
You're going to prison.
The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and
that's
harder to
praising you.
access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world.
Music
And that
went
wasn't what I
silent.
wanted for him
Yeah,
or for his game.
but you can see.
Because I feel
It's
like
getting
a lot of his
darker.
games are
Well,
inviting me to connect,
You're in an
to
infinite
connect
loop.
with
Oh,
this
yeah,
person,
this isn't going
to
anywhere.
bring
Yeah.
him closer.
As you back up, it's
But what can you
It
do?
was getting darker, but
Yeah.
it was
After
pulling
this,
towards you.
Coda
Yeah.
went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
We're jumping way ahead.
June 2010. We don't have to do the math on this one because you just
Not
told
yet.
us. Mobius Trip.
Play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin. What? What's going on? Help, I'm blind, I can't see what's going on.
Oh, I get it. To play this game properly, you have to close your eyes. 'Cause everyone is blind, apparently. There was a giant door, and then my vision went blank. So we're heading towards the giant door. I know how to solve this.
Open the door. Where's the switch?
Where's the switch? Yeah.
Ah! Kaboom!
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
The only way to stop it
Speak
is-
something honest.
I can't keep these.
Yeah. Lamppost. Touch it.
I don't feel it anymore. I'm out of
Like
it.
I said, I was getting
Framing.
concerned. First off, he's never been this
That's a little
explicit in
close
his
to
work
home.
about
Yeah.
exactly what he's thinking. So, where's that coming from?
3.
But then, even
kinda
weirder,
agree.
his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a
this
lot
was
more
gonna be easy.
distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
Find it interesting.
His games
that
are going to
every one of
get
them
more
afterwards
desperate
was the
from
truth.
here on out.
Yeah.
After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
So December.
Either November or December, yeah. It's quite an experience, though.
Yeah.
So far.
Hello. Just speaking to the
We spoke it into existence.
Hey. Oh, this is the one where you have to scream every 15 seconds.
Scream into the void, and the void shall reply.
Eventually.
Where?
Up in the tree. Oh, the tree itself?
Maybe. Oh, music's weird.
Yeah.
Which one do you think?
2.
2? Oh, I figured that maybe the tree would keep talking to me.
Yeah. This tree's gonna talk to you now. Oh no.
Music's so disjointed.
Yeah, it is. Doesn't choose either. They're about the same.
Yeah. It's obviously a vagina allegory. It's
Right?
gigantic clitoris.
Yeah.
Touch.
I found it. I need to see it in the white
Which, that's the one you want?
style. I mean, they're all basically the same.
Yeah.
So.
There's a problem.
If the last game featured
Difficult
Coda
puzzle.
talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now,
Yeah.
put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose
Number
work
3.
is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even,
Deal.
and yet still he keeps making games.
I pressed 3.
Oh,
but
keeps
it
throwing
changed
himself
it.
into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore.
Single gateway.
Why? What is it for?
To the end of the fucking
'Cause
bridge.
from my perspective at the time, and
Or
not.
just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone
Store has an
outside of
eye.
himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
First, you have to open the door.
Close the door.
Then you have to close the first door. Now press the switch.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness.
No.
It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation.
That sound
If
is
all of
called
your
fluff.
anxieties are being channeled
is
into
very
your
wet.
work, then if the work ever
Very
fails, you
sloshy.
have no backup and you're just going to crash.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Ah.
This is all my words. Some crying.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Say that your work is fun and easy. And to say that game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Let's stick with the actual closest to it.
Yeah. Oh.
I think the third one's probably the closest to
Yeah.
accurate.
Don't worry about it. Keep saying creation is
The closest one.
It's floating colored bricks.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Pain breezes effortlessly off me. Any sacrifices made for my work are worth it 100% of the time.
I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Touch. And there we go.
There was
But
your
it didn't
crying.
stop.
Yep.
After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
That's some distance.
Yeah.
We're in 2011 now.
Let's see. I'm 18, 19. 19.
2011. I would have been 19, yeah.
I would say you weren't quite 19. It was May.
Yeah, May I would have been 18 still.
Yeah.
Arrived, we captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like.
I intend
Quick,
to
quiet,
be
or brutal? Brutal.
Flip the switch.
Can't. Someone called the press, so you might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda.
Alright, now close the door.
Jesus Christ. No. Machine.
Keep talking and no one explodes.
And of course, it's the machine.
I'm sorry. I was
Focusing.
caught up in the sound of.
Yeah.
I was trying to place it. That's that movie.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. You stopped feeding us. Your work was keeping us alive. Your work was keeping us healthy. You stopped feeding us.
Because they're in weird places, I have to
Yeah.
remember which one it is. Those people out there, can you imagine what pain you put them through? It's only because of your creations that any of us could make it through them every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you after to do this job? Two. So here's what needs to happen. You need to go to some people who are out there and apologize to them. You have to admit to people that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. Well then.
Yeah. I have seen the thing you fear.
Oh my.
Gay porn.
Oh my. Alright then.
No, there's no fucking people. You never released your shit. Like, this is the part that makes no sense to me. He said he never. Okay. Go full tyrant, my followers. I am your god. I have a troubling revelation, so here we
Yep.
go. We're going down God path. The machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit it did deliberately hurt us. Man, both of those.
First one's more true, but
Yeah. Like, they're both fairly true.
and they're both just extremely accusatory.
Yeah. It's not healthy at all.
No.
And
especially because this represents apparently an internal conflict.
Right.
So,
Number one.
number one.
Yeah. Number three. Number three. Yeah.
But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are.
Yeah. We will find a way to live without it. Don't need its games. Number one.
Okay.
Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not. Number two.
Number two.
Yeah. We will destroy the machine.
Destroy everything the machine has created.
No, we will destroy the machine. Keep everything it created.
Fair enough.
Turn it for good.
And we're back here.
All right. God, what other Shakespeare's do I know?
Apparently it's Romeo and Juliet.
What's sad is I was literally about to say, what light me? What light?
Oh, that was
beyond
perfect
win-
timing.
What light beyond thine window?
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Yeah, but at what? Oh,
Oh.
okay. We can just destroy this state. This isn't the machine, though. Where'd the machine go? We were supposed to destroy the machine. I'll make sure your work guy's here. I'll make sure you are known forever.
Which one?
I don't know. Number two.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's
Yeah.
having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people. To get some actual feedback on his
That might
games.
not be a great
It
idea.
might get him out of isolation.
Ah,
And so, as I'm thinking
Fuck
this,
your typewriters.
I realized that I could be the one to initiate it.
glad he didn't
Because it
put
would
the
never
actual
occur to
monkey
Coda to
sounds.
start actively
Yeah.
soliciting feedback.
And then I'd feel a little
So,
bad.
what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Destroy the room.
Fuck your ideas. Oh, this actually can let me shoot the floor.
Oh, and
Door!
So I started showing
Shoot
Coda's
that
work to
over.
people.
Open
I took this
sesame.
one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games.
Slowly
The
falling.
point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Well, there is. I say, we know how this shit works.
Mm-hmm.
You can make something absolutely brilliant, but if your brain does not, if your brain doesn't want you to accept that it's
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
yeah,
Because it's
like
the
he's
thing
on
that
verge
I
of
always
killing
feel like
himself.
I need,
Mhm.
to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something,
wrong.
I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy. So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
As he said. Again,
Same textures.
yeah, a little more high fidelity than before.
Yeah.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Ugh.
Except
Oh.
that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press the use key on your gamepad, and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
True source textures.
Yeah.
That was from the first game. That was the alarm.
Mm-hmm.
Sound design's really good with this.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Did we flip the switch?
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
like escalators.
Yeah.
It's a room.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely. Just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding
there's
this
the switch.
game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them...
I know I took a long path, but I was curious.
I think he was
I had been
expecting
trying
you
to, though.
take
That was the
over.
thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Because we didn't have anything.
That or he didn't, he just didn't want to share it with anyone.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, he never showed these to anyone.
True.
So... maybe it was just for... Hello. You're new.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I screw up?
So before we get going, where's your brain at with this so far?
I feel like I know where this is going.
What's your hypothesis then? We'll have a mini discussion before we get through, because we seem to be culminating.
I feel like Coda fucking killed himself.
Any other thoughts?
I mean, yeah, like now this guy's kind of making it all about him, which, I mean, fair, I guess. Of like, you tried to do something for who you saw as a friend, but you went about it without your friend's permission. That's the
In
thing.
all honesty, it was even more than that. He seemed to do it regardless of.
Right. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like he went and shared these games with other people without Coda's permission. Coda didn't want them out there, obviously. He didn't release them.
Yep.
So, you know, there had to be a reason for that. Don't do things, and then, you know, now you're sitting there asking yourself, how did I screw up? Why did I screw up? That's how you screwed up.
That self-focus of why do I feel like a failure,
Yeah.
or why this, that, and the other, and it's
Yeah.
like,
And
I feel like we're losing the
Yeah.
track here with
Yeah.
that.
it's not about you.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
Huh? Well,
It's
maybe he
because of
didn't
what I
kill
did.
himself.
I poisoned it for you.
So I don't need to read the first part of that.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
I'm just gonna leave them on screen long enough to read.
Yeah.
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally, for a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Well, there's your.
Oh, so he added the lamppost.
There was never a lamppost.
Huh.
That's the one detail I did remember about this ending.
Gotcha.
And then you stopped, and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing. Less than nothing. What does that mean?
Huh.
That's strikingly true.
Yeah.
That's also fair. Because there's always dark dips in creative process.
So, yeah.
That's a mindset that's actually extremely healthy.
Yeah.
That's the
I'm
kindest
afraid
thing
that
he
I did
probably
something
could have
really
said.
stupid because I don't like myself.
Just out of concern for someone that once meant something. Probably still does, but that knowledge of I just can't handle this person anymore.
Yeah.
And there's no switch.
No.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me?
Yeah.
Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
And he calls back to the prison.
Yeah.
And I don't think Coda wrote the prison about him.
No. Yeah,
It's an experience.
Yeah.
And we're in the epilogue.
Wow.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's not a lamppost. Looks like a train station.
Almost.
Go through the obvious doors?
Yeah.
Yep.
Obvious
It
doors
is.
are obvious.
In fact, it was a train station.
More. more
Right.
love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
No windows.
No?
The dull conversation in
Yeah,
the
I was
background.
gonna say, here talking. Yeah.
Solution.
Nice transition, though.
Yeah. That is a game I would play.
Yeah.
Like, I would want to, anyway.
It has nothing to do with, it's not even made in Source Engine, but just the way that transition came through made me think of Superliminal,
Okay, yeah.
if you remember that game.
Yeah.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
I mean, everyone has their hobby.
Yeah. I mean, escape games can be fun.
Yeah, and I mean, even just making things for yourself that
Yeah.
were never meant to be
Yeah.
finished.
Exactly.
I don't know how many stories I have half written.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah. I'm sitting on 2 of them still.
Even now,
Half-written?
the
Like
disease
about
is telling
12?
me to stop.
I didn't even say
Don't
half
show
written. I
people
have
what a shitty
concepts
person
for
you
them
are.
both that I need to work
They'll
on.
hate you.
I mean, you know about at least one of them.
Probably.
It's the fucking gigantic amount of information that you and I went back
Yes.
and forth about.
Yes.
The one that I think would transpose to a visual novel better than anything.
Yeah.
Sand or dust.
Ash.
It's the horse painting we wanted. Unfinished.
Unfinished, of course. Tilted slightly.
Yep, it's correct. We're escaping. You gotta turn the lights off.
Yeah.
No.
That's in the next room.
Yeah.
Because they're off, and then you gotta turn them on and then off. Something flickered.
Yeah, that was turning. There we go.
Oh, God.
It's just a cavern.
Alright, where's the run button?
I set the controller. There's no extra buttons. I can't even talk to anyone right now.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually
The brain of
cannot
an extrovert.
conceive of what that would be
Mhm.
like.
Like just true form. That's brain of an extrovert,
Yeah.
and that very well is an analog for an extrovert not understanding an introvert.
Yeah.
I do like the designs of the areas.
Yeah.
Like visually, they're really striking.
Yeah.
And for Source Engine, they look really nice.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Okay. What's that level in Halo 3?
Get out of my head. First of all, I was literally sitting here going, oh, so we've entered Halo.
Yeah. So all I was thinking was the map from Halo 3 multiplayer.
Uh-huh. If not that, then, well, the map from Halo 3, but, like, the textures of Halo 1.
Yeah. That would line up about right. The original Xbox and Source Engine were about neck and neck. So that's where I played the original Half-Life, was on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, that was on PS2. Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I was going to say Half-Life 2 is part of the Orange Box.
Yeah. And, yeah.
Team Fortress. Fortress and Portal.
Actually, I just had Half-Life 2 for the
Oh.
Xbox initially.
Nice.
They had a disc of it.
Oh.
I guess down the hole.
Yay.
And we're back here.
I thought,
Oh, it's going up.
Okay, I was gonna say, I thought I saw a door.
Yep, we saw it a door, but we have to wait for the elevator. If I wait long enough, they'll go back up the chute.
We can find
I'm
out.
gonna see if it's gonna keep moving or not.
If it does, then yes. If it doesn't, then no. Doesn't look like it's slowing down.
It just straight up stopped.
Okay.
Now we're in the desert temples in Minecraft.
Yep. About to go back into Halo, though.
Mean curved. No, we're back at the train station.
Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. Like, just without the lamppost.
Yep. There's no clock in the center.
He told him to stop adding lampposts.
Well, those weren't. That wasn't the same
I
lamppost.
know it wasn't the same, but it was still a lamppost.
Look at that. Full circle.
Pretty much.
Well, that's the end of the first game. At the very end there.
Is it?
That looks like the blue line. The blue.
Oh, the blue and white door.
No.
the
The core of the ship that you had to jump into.
Oh, yeah, that was
that
the
sends
ship.
you levitating.
That was the second game.
Was it the second?
Yeah, because the first game was just the sandbox,
Right.
technically.
Yeah, first level he ever made.
Yeah.
I was thinking first original game.
Yeah. It does look like it, doesn't it? All right, so now you have a choice: jump into the beam
Or walk right past.
or walk away.
Well, let's see if there's a wall on the other side, because it looks like there is.
Yeah, it does. That's very bright.
Yeah. That's some good texture right there.
Yeah.
All right, into the thing. And we float. That was a good transition.
Yeah.
And- oh, wow.
Holy shit.
It's a brain.
Can we go through that maze?
The forever maze. Be warned of the Minotaur.
We'll find him in about 10 years.
Oh, yeah, if he doesn't find you first.
I'm starting. He's already.
Yeah, he's closer to the sun.
Yeah.
We're there.
Yeah. When we come back down, then we'll be.
The body's probably still. That's a really good vista.
The maze underneath is.
Yeah, that's trippy. If I spin real fast, it looks like shitty tile.
Turn your sensitivity all the fuck way up and just spin.
7,000 DPI.
Oh, there's your mouse.
For a second.
Turn back from this cave.
I hope this isn't copyrighted, but oh well.
You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going.
So what'd you think?
That the twist there at the end was
But the
something else.
It was a really solid,
Yeah.
like, the narrative, and it recontextualizes everything he said along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And you're
he
so
framed it.
tired.
and I fell for it. I see that because I even said I think Coda was
Yeah.
impressed. I think this, and then all of a sudden it was nope.
It's that unreliable narrator
Yeah.
in a very unique way,
Yes.
which I really like about it. And for an hour and a half experience,
Yeah. Not bad.
it is impactful for what it is, and
Mm-hmm.
especially if you understand where it's coming from,
Yeah.
which is anyone with a creative mind is going, ow,
Yep.
that hurts. Why'd you do this to me?
Yep.
And we're done.
Yeah.
I told you it was an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
It was a simple little experience. I have another one that's a very cerebral thing that we'll do another time. We'll probably save it for another in-between session.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, have you ever done What Remains of Edith?
I've never finished it. I've
You've never
started
finished
it,
it?
but I've never finished
And
it.
say that's one that we can do because that game to me is top tier.
I've heard the story, the narrative as a whole is phenomenal.
It is.
and the visuals just lay to it.
Yeah. No, that game is
One of my
really, really
favorite
fun.
narrative games of all time is still Firewatch.
Yeah, that's fair.
That story is so well written, and they write it to be compelling in its own way without it
Yeah.
needing to be pushed forward too
Yeah.
much.
Uh-huh.
'Cause that, I think what sold me on it was the intro, honestly. The way they set it up to the decisions you make to tell the story,
Yeah.
and then just drop you into a completely different narrative that is tangentially related. It all eventually comes back around,
Yeah.
but that tangential relation of just picking what happened beforehand for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this one was. Yeah.
It was an experience.
Yeah, it was.
So, any thoughts that you have on it? I figure we can do a little mini chat about it afterwards since this was fairly short.
Yeah. It's giving me that quiet anxiety in the back of your head.
Yeah,
Where it's just like now
it-
you're thinking about your own.
it spoke to me, and now I'm not happy about anything I
Right.
did.
It's one of those. I worked for years to get content of where I am, and you just fucked all that up. Thank you.
It is
Yeah,
just the way it is.
It's one of those. It's one of those. I went to therapy. I worked through all this shit, and now I'm thinking about it again. No.
It is a creator's curse to
Yeah.
create and then hate what they create.
See, and I've never felt like that kind of like hate
It, not,
what I
it
create.
may not be excessively, but you're never satisfied with it.
Like
It's
I've never
the very-
released any of it. Just like this, where I've got. Good lord.
I know you've been writing for decades now.
I haven't released a single thing. I've shared.
You've shown me a couple
I've
things
shown
privately.
you a couple privately. I've shown a couple other people a couple very privately. I've lost more stories than I fucking remember because
Same.
moving computers and
Moving computers and also losing physical media.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my papers are gone.
Oh yeah, no, I remember printing one out one time and like
Yeah.
I printed out the pages and did all this and God knows where that is.
Yep. And those forever gone files.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, I have one story that I'm really proud of. I will never release it because I just like this where I know in my head I'm gonna release it and I'm gonna get that backlash of this is crap.
There's always going to be naysayers.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I learned immediately is in anything you do creatively, there's always going to be someone who doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But that's the best part about art, honestly.
Yeah.
Is you don't have to like it.
No, but that's where I liked my friend back from college. She was also a writer. That she's actually got a published book.
Fantastic.
And even her published book, like when I read it, I have it. It's on my bookcase.
Mhm.
Like it's almost dead center of my bookcase. With
There's that little bit of pride for the people you know that
Exactly.
succeeded. Yeah.
But there's mistakes in it.
Mhm.
There's obvious mistakes.
Of course,
Grammatical
yeah.
errors that made it past all the edits.
Yeah,
you
that
know,
happens.
That I spotted. I told her about. She just said, "Eh,
Yeah, that's how you got to kind of
Whatever.
roll with it at that point.
yeah." She's
It's
like, "It's already
finished.
it's already out."
Job's over.
Right. It's like, and it's supposed to be the first part of a trilogy. Second part, I don't even know where she's at on it.
I mean, if
It's
you want to plug it, if they're okay with it, you're welcome to plug
I
it.
have no idea if she's okay with
I mean,
it
it's
or not.
a released book.
It is. But like I said, it is
It
realistically unfinished.
Yeah.
The first third is out.
Yeah.
Um,
But regardless, it's up to you if you feel comfortable releasing the information on it, and if not, we can always amend otherwise by not saying so.
yeah, I'll
So we can always bring it up in another.
yeah, I'll bring it
conversation
up
down
in
the line.
another one. But I'll talk to her and get
Probably
permission.
best to get permission outright first.
Yeah, 'cause I literally just looked on Amazon to see if it even popped up, and it did not.
It may have been a small release with a smaller publisher.
Well, I thought she had put it on Amazon.
Oh, I wouldn't know on that one.
Right.
No, that sense of pride for people you care about succeeding at their art is.
But-
This talking on it, it is an intoxicating feeling.
Yes, but I know I sent her, you know, for editing reasons and whatnot like that, my longest complete story.
Yeah.
And she came back with definitely needs a lot of work, but as first drafts go,
That's usually how it
It
goes.
is. And I never edited a single goddamn thing.
I'd say that's why there's usually 5-6 drafts minimum before it goes to editing.
Yeah. No, I think if I ever found the inspiration again, I'd probably go back to it.
That's fair. I mean,
But I have to find the inspiration.
that's the trickiest part.
Yep. But yeah.
Regardless, let's take a look at the chapter names just because I'm curious.
Okay.
So we've
The
got
Whisper Machine, which Whisper.
backwards, yeah,
Yep.
entering, stairs, puzzle,
Exiting.
yep, town,
Okay.
notes, escape,
Yeah.
house, lecture. They're all pretty on
Yeah,
the nose, but
yeah.
regardless, it's
Mobius.
nice.
Yeah, the Mobius strip.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Machine, yeah. Tower. And then epilogue.
Yep. I was curious if any of them had any specific titlings or if it was going
Nah.
to all be on the nose.
Yep.
And it was all on the nose, which is not a problem.
Yep.
All right, well,
So, yeah.
it's a little short, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead.
It's good for a little one-off and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Let's go ahead and see who might be online. I think Task might still be going. If he's still going, we'll raid him since he's such a lovely person. There he is. Yep, he is about the same number of people we have.
Nice.
Let's go ahead and send everybody over to Task. Thank you guys for hanging out.
Yes.
I know it was a little short, but we will come back in a couple weeks with Frozn here, and next week it'll be Monday. I'll be back on Dishonored.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing anything on this weekend or not. I might be able to do it on Starve come Sunday. I'm not sure. Regardless, take it easy, guys.
Bye.